Yeah.
Let me go back to Zoom. Oh, we're live. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Body Active Show. I'm here with the beautiful Laura Cornago from Ammonia Mama, and I'm really excited about this topic today because I really think it's not given enough attention, especially for women who are first-time moms and really need more information from this perspective. So I am so happy you're here. Thank you. How are you today?
So much, Joanna. I really appreciate inviting me. I totally agree with you. This is a really big topic for new moms. They need more information. They deserve to know more, be more educated about it, so that they can be more ready for what's coming.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge for new moms? Like there's a couple different things that you told me you wanted to talk about. So what's the first one you think is the biggest challenge?
Well, there are a few challenges that I definitely have in my mind. So first of all, there is this new baby, right? New baby is coming to the life of the mom. So this is definitely a new chapter in the life of a new mom that needs to understand how literally to keep alive this little creature. So how to feed, how to put to sleep, why he's crying, why he's unwell. There are so many things going on with this baby that you need to learn in this process of these first months. So these can be extremely stressful and challenging for a new mom. For sure, the second challenge that is in my mind is sleepless nights.
Oh my God, right.
Is still
supposed to be in charge of a little human with no sleep. I mean, it could be imagined. That's crazy.
It's crazy. You know, as you are a trainer as well, so you know how sleeping is important.
It's everything.
Person, right? So rest means recovery, means regrow, which is would be fantastic for a new mom that needs so much healing, but it's not possible, right? The baby wakes up every 1-2 hours. Sometimes the new babies, especially during the fourth trimester, they confuse the night for the day. So this can be extremely exhausted on the body and the mind of a mother, and it's definitely one of the challenges that I still remember back then 2 years ago. And we need to combine these sleepless nights also with the changes of the hormones. So postpartum, early postpartum, we have this drop of estrogen, progesterone, and also oxytocin. Oxytocin, as you know, is these hormones of affection, of love, these positive hormones that the moms start to have when they bond with the baby, but then it drops as well. So if you combine the exhaustion of not sleeping, the stress of like keeping, you know, the new baby, happy, and also these hormonal changes, also this feeling of isolation and loneliness that the new mom can find at the beginning, because it's completely focused on the newborn. There are hours and hours of breastfeeding or nursing. Also breastfeeding can be extremely challenging, especially the first months, with clogged ducts, mastitis, cracked nipples, bleeding nipples, babies that don't latch, baby that don't grow. Another stressful, the magical experience as all the fourth trimester, with a lot of challenges. So, and of course, then there is the body of the mom that is recovering, right? Either you had a vaginal or C-section delivery. Both deliveries can have some problems. There is a lot of bleeding. There is this conception of the fact that the moms, when gives birth, then she's gonna look okay.
Back to normal, right? Like no effort.
The mom is gonna look actually pregnant, 3-4 months pregnant for the next 2 weeks. So sometimes the mom doesn't realize it, and she's like, looks still pregnant, what's going on? So there is a lot. So you're recovering from a C-section, is a major surgery. So there is a lot of pain and aches, as well as a vaginal delivery, right? So the body has so much to heal. And on top of that, there are all these different challenges. So, and we get to one of the topics that I really would like to talk with you about, which is the fact that in the middle of all this fourth trimester bubble with good, obviously with positive things, which is the amazing joy and happiness and love towards the newborn and all these challenges, then there is this acceptance that the moms have to have looking herself in the mirror. So
I can imagine it's such an emotional process. I mean, you're loving on this baby, and then you look at yourself and you don't recognize yourself probably because you've gone from that glow of like the pregnancy glow. I think I just love how pregnant women look. It's just beautiful. I think it's just a beautiful shape for a woman. But then I can imagine you have the child and you just still have this body in this shape that you're just not used to, you know. So I love that this is where you start with them. This is your focus on them. So I love all the work you're doing.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, there is this conception of the fact that we do celebrate the pregnant body. Everyone loves to have to see the pregnant mama. To, you know, we do photo shoot. We love, you know, to look gorgeous with our big belly. It's so much fun. And then immediately after we give birth, guess what happens? Society
forget about mama. It's all about baby.
To make the magic and to go back like nothing happened, right? And obviously the moms find looking in social media, celebrities that just, you know, snapping their fingers, what happened? They look perfect with a flat belly, looking gorgeous, glamorous, while especially the first trimester is really not glamorous, right? It's and your body still needs time to heal. The focus shouldn't be in this bouncing back, which is a term that I really dislike, because put pressure on the moms to try to fix
You're not worried about a million other things, right? You're just worried about the bouncing back because you don't have enough.
The bouncing back. While I always tell my mom something they probably already heard, that you took 9-10 months of being pregnant and growing your beautiful baby. Please allow these other 9-10 months postpartum to go back to more like normalcy in terms of hormones, in terms of mental health, in terms of routine with your baby. Find time for yourself. I totally agree with the fact that the moms really desire to feel strong again, confident again in your body, feeling good in your body. This is normal. What is normal is this rush that sometimes society put on us, new moms, to do very quickly because you need to look good as soon as you can. This is not good. The fourth trimester, these first 3 months postpartum, are meant for the moms to rest, recovery, and heal. That's obviously something that I focus a lot with my moms, the importance of rehabilitation of core and pelvic floor, which is our next topic.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's so important, and the unrealistic expectations we put on ourselves. I think women do this a lot more than men when it comes to bodies, especially because of the changes that you go through as a woman throughout your life. There's so many physical changes that I mean, when I hit 30, my hips just like, whoop, I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm like, all right. So it's just, and it's a lot of hormonal things that change. And I mean, obviously pregnancy has a huge shift in hormones. So yeah, I love that you give yourself another 9 to 10 months with, you know, just let your body heal. And such an important, I would never put that expectation on someone else to bounce right back. I'd always be like, hey, take it easy, slow down, enjoy the process, you know?
Yeah. So, it's not easy. And something that I forgot to mention with all this roller coaster of emotions and hormones is something that I really want to stress about it, is that very often moms have to deal with baby blues, postpartum depression, which is another major topic that sometimes moms are feeling guilty or feeling sad or unhappy or down, while they are supposed to be super happy and excited about motherhood. But it's super normal having these baby blues. Baby blues are 50-75% on moms, and postpartum depression 15%. So there is a really high chance that a mom mentally doesn't feel good. And what I want to say, if there is any pregnant mama or new mama that is afraid to feel in that way, this is normal, and there is a support both from the family and professional that can help. So if you feel that this is something that is going out of control and you don't want it, don't feel ashamed. It's super normal to go through this. I really want to stress about it because I know moms that had it and they want to talk about it because they felt it wasn't right.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's all that stress together, and then you right now in the current like climate we're in now with the world, it's like another layer of insanity that you layer on. And I mean, I can't imagine being pregnant and having a child right now and being so isolated from your family when you want to show them off to your parents and your brothers and sisters, and I mean, those are key. Like, the babies change so much from one day to the next when they're that age. So I can see how that can really hit you hard mentally. So yeah, that's definitely always good to reach out if you're ever feeling down. I mean, it's huge with mental health. So let's talk about some of the things you cover in your program that you work with in the physically.
Absolutely. So I was started to talk about the importance of rehabilitation of a core pelvic floor, which is something that I cover in my program that I will talk about later. But I really want to talk about it because the problem in our health system is the fact that there is really this missing gap between giving birth and the 6 week, 8 weeks, if you had a C-section postpartum visit with your OBG, where they check very generally if you're okay. So if you don't have a major issues, they give the green light to the moms to go back to exercise, to go to normal life. You are free to go. But there are a lot of buts. So first of all, we have to remember that your core and your pelvic floor, no matter how it was your pregnancy or your delivery, both of them have been through a lot of pressure and stress, right? So the core had to expand to accommodate the uterus and the baby. So obviously there's been a weakening of the deeper muscles, or also the external muscles that have been had to stretch. And we will talk about diastasis recti later, but imagine, the stress that the core has been through the pregnancy. And then there is the pelvic floor, that no matter vaginal or C-section delivery has been supporting the extra weight for 9 months, which is a lot of work for your pelvic floor. Also, if you had a vaginal delivery, of course, you might have more damage down there, right? Because of tearing, episiotomy, the pushing, so there might be some degree of prolapse. So your core and pelvic floor needs some help. Our bodies as mothers are resilient, are strong, but they need help to get back and heal properly and functionally. The problem, as I just suggest, is that there is no help in the health system in terms of like prescribed pelvic floor physical therapies or prescribed programs that the mom can do. And there are 2 problems. The first problem is the fact that between giving birth and the 6 weeks visit, the doctor tells you, try to rest, don't exercise, try to do as less as possible. Okay, that's fine. But the thing is that mama's life is not sitting on the couch or lying in bed, is getting out of bed, taking shower, looking after your new baby, cooking. If you have a toddler, that's also, you know, a bigger step in the mama's game. So you need to hold your toddler, play with them. So the moms is still moving during these 6 weeks.
Rest of the myth, like it's a fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to be careful, right? But you have a core and pelvic floor that has been through some sort of trauma or stress, call it as you want. And if there is some issues there and you are moving without helping the healing from some easy rehabilitation exercise, very gentle. I'm not talking exercise, I'm talking rehabilitation, I'm talking healing exercises. You might injure yourself more, right? Why I say why not we don't use these 6 weeks postpartum to help our body healing, because the first weeks are when our body is more receptive to go back into, you know, a function. So why we don't give the extra help? So when we get to this 6-week visit, actually our core and pelvic floor are a big step forward, and we can actually start to go back to exercise. Because the problem, if you don't do any during this 6 week and the doctor is giving you the green light and we are dying to exercise, you know, at 6-8 weeks, you really want to exercise.
You want to feel normal, you know, you want to get back to feeling. It's just what you're telling to me, right? Like, I never even thought about it that way, but if you had a knee replacement, the first thing they tell you to do is the rehab. Within hours, days. It's not just rest. If you had a back surgery, if you had a shoulder surgery, they immediately put you on a rehab program. So it just, I never even connected those two. This is like, like a surgery, or it's a major, it's a major, I don't want to call it a pregnancy, a surgery, but it's an injury sort of to,
it's a big event. It's either vaginally or C-section.
Right, and it requires rehab just the same as any other rehab. So
absolutely, you're totally spot on, because it's exactly the same example that I give, especially to my C-section moms. Because after the C-section surgery which is a major surgery, they cut layers of your abdominals, of your core, of your belly, and nobody's gonna give you any rehabilitation. They're not gonna even tell you how you should move in the first days postpartum. So the mom is really left on her own. And I always say, you know, the knee surgery require prehab, post, the prehab and post rehab for months. And a C-section surgery, nothing, zero.
Rest.
Something that I give all the instruction, especially if they're scheduled, or the instruction in advance to my clients, because I know that otherwise there is nothing. And the same for the vaginal delivery. There is such a big event for your body that it really needs some help. So the problem, so I was saying that the moms is dying to do some exercise, and I totally get it, I've been there. But what happens if you have some issues, or if you don't even have some issues and you haven't rehabilitating your body, you go back to exercise, you go back to running, any sort of exercise, you risk to injure yourself more. So talking about the diastasis, you can make it worse. You can make become an hernia. I had moms that come to me with hernias just because they went back to exercise without knowing that they have the diastasis recti, and they made it worse. And now they have hernia, which is obviously a step forward in the diastasis recti, as well as moms that think that doing exercises and some jumping or laughing and coughing and leaking urine is normal. It's common, but it's not normal. If you are suffering of urinary incontinence, especially as a new mom, just means that your pelvic floor needs some attention. And there are some easy exercises that I teach myself as well that can help resolve completely incontinence. And I'm not talking just the first moms, but also I have clients that are years postpartum, their kids are teenager. I help them recover from the incontinence, like heal from the incontinence, just with simple exercises. So it's just really education and knowing what to do, and having someone tell you what to do. It's so
most people with exercise, even if it's weight loss or anything, a lot of the times it's not that they don't have a willingness to, or that they don't want to, it's just they don't really know where to start. So, and especially when in such an emotional time with the baby and with everything going on, I think having that guide, like someone like you to guide them, hold their hand step by step, this is what you got to do, I'll show you, I'll talk you through it. And even something as for some people, they could accept the incontinence, but some people are so embarrassed to even talk about it. It's like, if you normalize these topics, it's something they could actually resolve quicker and not be suffering potentially the rest of their life with incontinence for something they could actually, it's pretty fixable in the long run. So I love that you're there to help them through that phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are, yes, so many like issues that sometimes you're totally right, that sometimes moms are just ashamed to talk about. Another one is painful sex after after giving birth, postpartum, and sometimes it's just because the pelvic floor is super tight. So obviously intercourse, it can become extremely painful. And guess what? The solution would be just to learn how to relax the pelvic floor. But some moms don't know, and they just go through the pain of having uncomfortable intercourse for a long time, while please, you don't have to go through all this pain. So there are easy solutions. Obviously there are different degrees of everything, right? Different continence and of prolapse, of diastasis rectis. There is a place for everything, but the majority of these issues, especially if you catch them earlier, such as pregnancy in prevention and early postpartum, so at this immediate healing, you can make a lot of things better just with exercise without intervention.
Even like probably you teach, I'm sure, how to breathe again without the baby. I mean, such a fundamental thing. You don't even think about that you have to be taught how to breathe, but when you have these muscles, I'm sure with the diastasis recti, that's probably part of the problem as well, like reorganizing the way you contract the muscles. Like,
right.
Because they just haven't been active in the same way. So
absolutely. The first thing that I teach to all of my moms, either pregnant or postpartum, is relearning to breathe correctly with the diaphragm. Maybe they don't even, very often they don't even know where the diaphragm is. They don't know what I'm talking about, but it's such a first step to repattern your body, to reconnect with your body, and then you can start to look at your core and your pelvic floor. And I really look at the body and any issue as a whole, right? So diastasis recti is not just a core problem. A pelvic floor problem is not just the pelvic floor problem, right? There is this core box that we have with diaphragm, pelvic floor, and TDA, and it's all about posture, misalignment that needs to be fixed. There's underactive and overactive muscles. So I really always stress with my moms, especially in my program, I make sure they understand that is not just focusing the isolating muscles, but we want to look you as a whole, and repatterning the way the moms move. So it's not just exercise, is really how you pick up your baby, how you hold your baby, what is your posture when you're holding your baby, and when you turn on your car seat, all these movements, if you're doing with more awareness and education, you are going to heal better and move better for the rest of your life. That's what I tell to my clients. This is not just for this specific time. Of course we are focused on that, but the knowledge and the education that you're gonna get from here, you can keep going for the rest of your life.
Well, it's all functional movement. I mean, whether
Exactly.
you might pick up a baby from a crib, but you might have to pick up a plate that's low or a box from the floor. It's the same concept. So if you just relearn how to move or movement patterns, and I know a lot of my massage clients, I mean, I massaged you when you were pregnant, and
Yes.
you feel the different parts that you're getting used to the new weight distribution in your body. It's just learning how to reconnect with those parts. And a lot of my massage clients that are prenatal and postpartum, it's always the shoulders, it's the lower back, it's the hips are just super tight. So it's all those little pieces that it's about rebalancing the way your body, rebalancing the muscles in your body to be agonists to each other, not antagonists.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I totally agree.
So I love massaging. My prenatal massages are probably my favorite massages to do. It's just such a fascinating process.
You're also very good.
Thank you.
I recommend to anyone watching.
So what else do you cover in the program after the
diastasis? Definitely a topic that I would like to talk about here is diastasis recti, which I cover in my program. So about my program, the Forth Trimester Reconnect is called Forth Trimester. So obviously it's very focused for the first moms, but I use this program also with moms years postpartum that they suffer with diastasis recti or some pelvic floor issues, especially incontinence, or just someone that just want to reconnect with the body and move better. So I have a lot of moms that come to me with diastasis recti, which, as you know, is a really hot topic right now, which is a good thing because it brings awareness, but is not a good thing also because is right now the information is very confusing, is really fear-based. So very often moms with diastasis recti, they're like, I don't know what I can do. And right here, I want to tell them that they can do a lot just with exercise, not going to surgery. Obviously, there is a place for surgery, of course, in very severe diastasis recti cases, but a lot can be redone just with simple exercises like I do in my programs of my one-on-one clients. So maybe some moms don't even know what diastasis recti is, so let's talk a little bit about it. So diastasis recti by definition is an abdominal separation. So we have, I'm gonna go a little bit back. So we have our rectus abdominis right here, right? The external muscles that they don't attach to each other. They attach to a connective tissue that runs from the bottom of your ribcage down to your pubis, called the linea alba. So what happens, obviously then we have our obliques, and then underneath there is the deep core called transversal abdominis, TVA. So that's a little bit the anatomy, right? So what happens when we are pregnant, our connective tissue right here needs to stretch to allow our uterus and our growing baby to expand. They need space, right? They need space. So the connective tissue stretches, the rectus, they go away from each other. Okay, so they go away, and this is what I called a normal, natural diastasis recti. So 100% of women by the end of the third trimester, they will have some sort of diastasis recti or abdominal separation. This is normal. I keep saying this is normal because I have a lot of pregnant moms that come to me, it's like, I have diastasis recti. Oh my God, I'm destroying my core. I'm like, okay, wait a second. I need to explain to them, this is normal. This is normal. What we don't want to have is an injury-based diastasis recti. So if we are not able to manage the intra-abdominal pressure that keep pushing against our core and our pelvic floor, this stretching can become too much. It can stretch behind what we need. And what happens postpartum, that in theory, Mother Nature is amazing and allows our body to go back to normalcy. So normally, the rectus abdominis should go back closer together. So basically, the connective tissue shorten up as it used to be. So they will never go back together because they never been together. So sometimes someone's like, I have one finger. I was like, yes, it's normal. It's normal. It's been always there. But diastasis recti is considered when you do this checking, which is like a head lift lying down on your back, and you check going in with the fingers. Is something that I teach my moms to do by themselves correctly. Otherwise, you can have a false result. So they can, check on themselves, especially now that we do a lot of online training. What happens that, so diastasis is usually considered 2 fingers or more of gap of width. What happens though right now, I think in our society, more and more moms are having diastasis recti because we're having worse and worse posture, a lot of misalignment, a lot of unbalanced muscles, very poor management of our intra-abdominal pressure. So more moms have diastasis recti just because there is a whole body problem, and it shows through this inability of going back together. Mm-hmm. And something that I really also want to stress about is that traditionally, the diastasis recti was measured just by this gap, right? It was all about closing the gap. Now, more researches and more diastasis recti experts are confirming the fact that it's not important just the width, so just the gap, but second, the depth is important. So how much your finger can go into this gap. They just by the nail, first knuckle, two knuckle, sometimes in severe diastasis, an entire hand can go down. Yes, in very severe, right? Usually is more like between the nail and the second knuckle, to give an idea. And the third, which is the most important thing, they confirm the integrity, the quality of the tissue that you feel down there is more important. What does it mean? When you check, when you go inside with your finger, how is the tissue? Is it soft? Is it mushy? Is it hard? This gives us an idea of how your underneath deep core, your transversal abdominis or TV8 is. So if it's weak, it will feel very mushy and soft. If underneath your connective tissue, you have a strong hard core, you are already ahead of the game, because they confirm that it's more important to work in the integrity. So strengthening the muscle, the TVA, that if someone of you watching don't know, is like what she's talking about, is this amazing natural corset of our body. They start from our back and wrap all around us, inserting in the top of bottom of our rib cage and our pelvis. So is this corset that when it contracts gets smaller, and when relaxed. So it does this movement. So can you imagine if we can make stronger this muscle underneath, and is going to be able to manage the intra-abdominal pressure that we increase every time that we do certain movements like getting out of bed, twisting, squatting. Every time that we move, we increase in a certain degree the intra-abdominal pressure. So the TVA is this muscle is the one that is going to prevent the stretching, the extra stretching of the connective tissue. So this is gives a lot of hope to the moms, because now we know that if you strengthen correcting your muscles with rehabilitation exercise, which for example are in my program, and means that we're going to load the connective tissues. As you know, Joanna, when you load the connective tissue, you also heal and make stronger the connective tissue. Our linea alba, exactly what we want to work on the diastasis recti. So this is exactly the process that we want to go and we want to follow to heal our diastasis. So it's not just about closing the gap, but is also working in the quality of the tissue. Super important. Of course, we know that strengthening our muscles takes less than healing the connective tissue. So I would say strengthening the muscle takes like 8-10 weeks, more or less, right? And the connective tissue can take even 1-2 years. So it's very normal for a mom to feel stronger first in the core before they see the connective tissue healing. It's just a question of time, right?
Well, a lot of that also, I mean, connective tissue doesn't have nearly the amount of capillaries and blood flow as a muscle does. Yeah. So that's why it takes a lot longer time, because of just getting the nutrients in there to kind of do the healing process. So it's a matter of you making a mental like check of like, it's okay, I'm here, I'm doing the things I have to do, doing my rehab. So I think that's important to understand that things heal at different times. So,
absolutely. And you can see like results anyway in a couple of months, even just healing the core. Of course, like to see results in the healing of the connective tissue takes time, but you can start to see the difference of your diastasis recti, of this, like, you know, this mum pouch that sometimes is a symptom of the diastasis recti. Sometimes moms think that it's normal to have, you know, a little lower belly, and sometimes just because they're moms, but sometimes they don't realize that is diastasis recti. And I forgot to mention that symptoms of diastasis recti, apart from this like little mum pouch, would be lower back pain, abdominal pain, problem with digestion, incontinence, because of course, it's not just about the core, everything is connected. So incontinence sometimes is a symptom or connected to diastasis recti. So again, diastasis recti is, yes, it shows by a damaged core, a damaged front, but really it's a problem that we need to address in all the different directions, which is what I do in my program. Again, I work on the breathing, I work on the core, pelvic floor, posture, alignment, and rebalance the muscles. Super important.
So it's, the whole thing is like a whole chain that needs to be all united in one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so crazy. It's amazing what women can do with their bodies. I mean, it's fascinating.
I know.
Yeah. So after that, so you do the diastasis recti, the incontinence. What else did you want to cover?
Well, so I would like maybe to talk a little bit more about the program and also other things.
Yes, definitely. I love your program. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's so needed.
Just to have an idea, is a 6 weeks online program. Everything can be done now using an app. Super easy, very straightforward. There are videos of me explaining and showing the exercise. There will be educational videos. They are absolutely crucial before starting the exercise, just because I really see in my moms that the more they are empowered in knowing and understanding how the body works. Sometimes in my assessments, I take out, I don't have it here, but I have my pelvic floor model, and I start to explain, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that's in my body. It's mind-blowing, and they start to, so if you know better, if you understand better how your body works, and feel empowered with that, the exercise is gonna be even better, because as you know, the connection brain and muscle fiber, especially when we repattering, is super important. So I think that if they have a better visualization in what they need to do, is very important. So educational videos, exercises, I say 6 weeks, but every mom is different. So they can take as much time as you want. So maybe a week is particularly difficult for them, or they didn't have time. So there is no problem. It can be done even longer. And then they have a support from me 24/7 for WhatsApp or whatever messages they want to use, for question, changing in the program, maybe something doesn't feel right. Of course, I can change it up. So it's always personalized, and it starts with a half-hour consultation at the beginning where we talk more about the issues that she might have, and half-hour consultation, or wrapping up of the program to see what's next for her. So it's super straightforward, and my moms are very happy, and I'm super excited about this. And something very important to say is extremely affordable, because I created this program because I'm so passionate about this subject, of course. So I really want to help as many moms as possible in this process. And again, I say it's deep process, but also years postpartum. I have moms, as I said, with teenager kids doing the program because they want to heal the pelvic floor. I have diastasis recti mamas, they want to heal that. So you can have different issues, and again, you can have no issues, and you can still do that. And of course, I do the one-on-one session using Zoom, as everyone nowadays.
Now, yeah,
Everyone, of course. What else? And I do with my pregnant moms. So with the pregnant moms, it's not just about exercises. Of course, exercise safely is very important, but we work a lot in the prevention of possible issues postpartum. So that is definitely my favorite time to work with moms, in the sense that I believe in prevention. So what about we make this mama that is pregnant empower and understanding how to work in your core, work in the pelvic floor, and feeling good during the pregnancy with less pains and aches. Like lower back pain is very common, but if you know how to move and manage the intra-abdominal pressure, this growing belly, you can feel much better just in pregnancy, right? And then we go through labor classes, so how to go through the waves of intensity using exercise. How amazing is that? And push prep, how to push effectively, because believe it or not, nobody really tells you how to push out the baby, but there is a way.
You just supposed to know. Hello.
No, yeah, I mean, all right. So there is a more effective way to push out the baby without damaging too much your pelvic floor. So, and there is so much, position to help, inducing the labor. So we go through all these aspects. So it's not just exercise safely, but there are all different components. While with the postpartum, of course, we go through all the rehabilitation, and then I take them to try to, do more exercise gradually, until really my goal is to let this mama goes to do whatever they love. You love running? Go now. You love to do Zumba classes? Now go and jump without leaking, the first jump. I just want my moms to be happy and feeling strong and empowered to do whatever they want. Of course, if they want to keep training with me, which I have some clients, regular clients, of course, and we can making, more challenging everything. But I see that my mission in my job right now as a postnatal exercise specialist is becoming really trying to help them throughout the motherhood journey, and then, just go and do whatever you want. Yeah. I love him.
I could tell. And you're just such a beautiful person inside and out. You just have this amazing energy. And I think you providing that for moms, especially their first time, that mental health piece, you're probably their go-to person. Like, hey, Laura, I'm feeling so bad. Or like, you just open up this door for them that you're normalizing feelings, and you're normalizing having conversations. You're normalizing having, like, not understanding what your body is going through, and having you to talk to, I think is going to be amazing for so many women just to have, because I see it with like managing a shoulder pain, but this isn't as personal as your actual lady parts, So when and I love that you have the fourth trimester, you called it reconnect, which I think is such a key word with what you're doing. It is just exactly, your branding is on point. It's everything right there, because you're reconnecting with how your body was pre-baby, and you're just reconnecting with who you are as a new mom now. If you've never been a mom, I just think it's such a beautiful way to help people transition through all those phases that are so confusing. when you're not knowing what is going on with my lady parts. I mean, just having you there to like talk to, I think is, I mean, so amazing for women. So I'm so happy you're giving this, you're providing this service for so many women. You're just an awesome in this crazy world. I'm so happy that you do this.
Thank you so much. I really
so where can they reach you? What's your website?
So my website is under construction.
Okay, or however, how do they get a hold of you to work with you?
But I use a lot as social media, Instagram. So the name of my company is Armonia Mama. So you can find me under harmonia.mama in Instagram or in Facebook under Armonia Mama. And of course, so I answer all the messages right there if they want to contact me, or I use my email as well, Laura Cornago PT @gmail.com. So they can email me there, and then, you know, we can exchange a number and we can go from there. But Instagram is definitely the social media that I use the most.
Okay.
Mama.
Well, if you guys have any questions or you want to reach out to her and for whatever reason can't, just throw a comment down here and then I'll make sure she sees it. I'll tag her in the comments below. Actually, maybe you should put all your contact information in the comments as well. I can reach out to you. Yeah. But yeah. Do you have anything else you want to share?
Well, I don't know, maybe just a couple of tips of mine.
Definitely.
Just to sum up, the first one, as we said, to honor your body, your beautiful body that has been through a lot and created this miracle of life. So please, really give yourself a lot of self-love, respect your body, and be kind of your body, because this is such a magical time to enjoy whoever you are in whatever form you are right now. Second is ask for help. The help and support can be done by your family, your partner. Obviously right now with COVID is more difficult, understand that, but as much as possible ask for help, and not just about your family, but also about professionals. So there are professionals for all these different challenges that we've been talking about. There are amazing therapies, there are amazing this is my boss, 2 years boss, lactation consultant, therapies for depression that we're talking about, postpartum doulas, night nurses. Now there is so much help, professional help that can be very useful, especially in these first few months. For sure, I would recommend to any mom postpartum to go and see a pelvic floor physical therapist. Very often, nobody's gonna tell you to do that, but I highly recommend it because they can assess you internally, your pelvic floor, they can assess your diastasis recti. So even if you can afford to keep going to them because they might be expensive, even though some of them now they get insurance, thank God. They can at least give you an idea of what you need, what your pelvic floor needs, if you need help with the diastasis recti. So it's a very good starting point for a new mom. And last, of course, a recommendation to moms to please don't go back to do crazy exercises without healing your body, without some sort of rehabilitation of the pelvic floor. Yeah. Please. That's awesome my
tips. I didn't even know there were pelvic floor physical therapists. I didn't even know that existed. So that's amazing.
They do, but yeah, very often the moms don't even know that they exist. I think that now is little by little the culture is changing again, thank God. But sometimes the OBG doesn't even recommend that. So now you know.
That's so amazing. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. This is just amazing information. And I think it's gonna help. I pointed out to some of my friends that are new moms and even have the 2-3-year-olds that this is gonna be so helpful for them. So thank you again, you guys. So check out what Laura's got, check out her social media. It's just filled with amazing information, and check out her program. It's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Stay safe.
Yes, definitely. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.